Hi, I'm Kerry Garrison.
Chad Handy.
Welcome to the Firearms Show. So, technically, this isn't day one of SHOT Show. It's Range Day.
Range Day.
And Range Day is a day for media representatives to go to a range. It was out down in Boulder City.
Mm-hmm.
Nice range.
Very.
Wish it was near our house. Lots of pistol ranges, lots of rifle ranges, some nice long range stuff. We were firing out at 960 yards at the one location.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as part of our SHOT Show coverage, we wanted to cover some of the highlights, some of the things that really stood out to us today. We can't talk about everything.
No.
We were there from 8 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon, dozens and dozens of booths, dozens of companies. So what we're going to do is try and hit on some of the things that really, really stood out. And some of the stuff we've got on the table here, we'll cover. Oakley.
Yeah, the SI M frames, real nice. It's always nice to, get down and actually talk to the vendors that you've been supporting for so long. They're gracious enough to give us some the new SI ballistic M frames to try out. So looking forward to that.
Now, before they sent us home with one, they gave you a loaner pair for the day.
Yes.
And what did you think of those? How are they different than what you've had?
I loved them. It's kind of like the difference between just wearing a kind of a cheap pair of sunglasses versus a very high-end pair of sunglasses. The only way to really explain it. They were sharp, they were crisp, almost kind of highlighted the targets on the paper. It was kind of odd.
Well, one of the things they said was that they had specifically tweaked the optics for target colors.
Yes.
To make targets stand out.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. Yeah, it really pinged off of it, which was it's just kind of bizarre is the only way to explain it. It's awesome.
So if you're a shooter, Oakleys are going to be a way to go, right?
I really like them. Always have.
Two different companies that we saw that had new cleaning and lubrication products. One was Italian gun grease, and the other was Q-Max, and we have a little sample of Q-Max to try. The difference, Italian gun grease was a 3-part kit. There was the anti-carbon, the anti-lead, and then the lubrication. And Q-Max with their black diamond is a all-in-one, organic. The Italian gun grease was all organic. This one has like diamond dust in it or something. And both of them claim to repel water. And where others will actually sit on top of water, like the Q-Max was heavier than water, so it's going to repel water instead of actually being washed away by it. And the way they're designed is to get into the microscopic pores and actually coat the weapon.
And fill it in, yeah.
Right. And with the Q-Max, they were saying what you want to do is fire a round, put in some lube, fire a round, put in some lube, swab it. Not, go heavy, just you want to recoat, and after about 30 rounds, you have a new finish in the gun that's going to give it at a molecular level, a different type of lubrication bond.
Right, and they also said it also speeds up cleaning because there's less of it to do.
Right, because it's not getting into all the little cracks and crevices and pores. Yeah. This is going to fill that in, making better cooling, less resistance, and easier cleaning.
Well, it's going to be more accurate because the heat level is going to be down, so it'll be interesting.
So worth checking out. Yeah. So that's the Q-Max. NC Star, that's one of their optics over here. If you're not familiar with NC Star, I don't even know what category to put them in, because I think you really find probably 4 levels of optics. You have your low end, you have your still kind of in the budget range, in the $100 to $200 range. Then you jump into the $400 or $500 range, and then you move all the way up into the $1,200 type range with the Trigicons and ACOGs and stuff like that. NC Star is in that second tier, in the $100 to $200 range for most of their optics. This one it's adjustable. It's a 4 to 9. Has a illuminated reticle, which was kind of neat. So the reticle itself lights up, great for night shooting, and on top of it, it's got a basic red dot. So you would think, this is going to be a $300-400 optic, and yet Amazon, $149. Great quality. It's metal construction, toolless adjustments. Once you have it zeroed in at, what do they say, 50 yards? 100 yards, then you can just dial it for 200, 500, and it automatically adjusts your droppage for you.
Yeah, I'm interested to put that one to the test.
So something we wanted to check out. So we got a sample from them to try out. Kind of excited about that. Hard to go wrong with slide fire. If you don't know what slide fire is, Google it. Fun stuff here. Kind of gives you the feel of an automatic with your semi. And we're big fans of the Ruger 1022. It's the Ruger 1022 conversion for the slide fire. It's the stock and a new trigger. It's a 3.5 pound trigger designed to work specifically with the slide fire stock. So that's going to be kind of cool.
That's going to be cool.
Other things, that sniper rifle that was from Lancer, that was kind of fun.
Oh, the 308, yeah.
308, got behind that. Really accurate, had a lot of fun. I mean, I was shooting out a few hundred yards on just your standard 6-inch spinners, hitting every time. Very, very interesting for, a company that most people may never have heard of.
Yeah, Lancer's been around a while too.
And yet, your average person has probably never heard of them.
Yeah, I've been using their stuff for a while.
Yeah.
So.
One that we mentioned in the preview yesterday was that company Caracal. And they had a line of handguns that we really wanted to see. They didn't have any of the handguns at the range. But what they did have, which I found very interesting, was a 9mm carbine.
Yeah, you did really enjoy that.
That was fun. Putting a 9mm in a rifle size, you just don't have the recoil that you have in a handgun, and yet you still have a nice punch of a bullet going out. So I found that was fun.
And the fact that the magazines actually work with all their pistol line.
That's right. It looked very similar to a Beretta magazine, which I asked them about, and they said no, it's for their magazines. So if you buy into the Caracal brand, you can buy one magazine for both that carbine and the handgun. So that's an excellent point.
Yeah.
What were some of what was your biggest surprise?
The 380 Glock was my biggest surprise. I don't like small firearms, but it was easily controllable. I nailed the target with all 5 rounds that they gave us. I was thoroughly impressed. For a 380, very impressed.
Well, what did you think of the Glock 42?
I like the 42.
Which is a 45 ACP, long slide.
Yeah, I again, very accurate. I have nothing bad to say about Glock. You know me, I love my Glocks.
That long slide made it really controllable. Dead on, loved it. Not for me. I don't see a purpose for me to have that 45. I can see why people would like it, for sure.
I'd get one.
But the 41, being the 380, Glock model numbers are just in sequence. They have nothing to do with caliber or anything. But that Glock 41, tiny little 380, easily fits in the palm of my hand. I can only get 2 fingers on it. 6+1, if I remember right.
If I remember correctly, that is correct.
6+1 and a 380. Now, is that going to be your primary carry?
I wouldn't, but it's an awesome backup.
Maybe during the summer, if you're just wearing shorts, you need something that's more concealable than normal. You carry a Glock 17, I carry a Glock 19. But there's times where those are just too big. But it happens,
Yeah,
right?
no, I see your
when you're
point.
wearing shorts or something, you need something a little smaller. Or you just need something very handy, a woman to have something in her purse. That Glock 41, I really didn't have anything to bitch about.
No, and I went into it thinking that I wasn't going to like it because it was small, and I had no problems with it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we went by the Ruger booth, and I wanted to check out the new American rimfire rifle. And they didn't have it in 22. He's like, don't have one here. Let me put you behind the 17 HMR. I'm like, don't really care, but let's try it. And got behind it. That was a surprise. 17, it's a smaller caliber than the 22, but it's longer. So it's an odd in between. But you get on that rifle, and it's a nice long gun. You pull that trigger, and you'd swear there was a silencer on the end of that thing.
It's quiet.
There was click,
Yeah.
ting, click, ting as it was hitting steel. Interesting gun.
Very.
Unique round. You don't see too many guns in the 17. But here's the thing. If you wanted a 22 in the American rimfire, no problem. 22 is a great round. But 22 is still hard to come by. You can order it online pretty easily. But if you want to run into Walmart or Cabela's or some other place, you're hard pressed to find 22 in stock
And
when you
do
want it that day.
Yeah, and when you do, it's usually a box limit of 1 or something.
Exactly. Cabela's has a single box limit of 100. So it's hard to stock up unless you're ordering in advance. You're not going to go, hey, let's go to the range today, run by and get some ammo. Doesn't happen. 17, Cabela's has shelves of it.
Mm-hmm.
Different brands, different loads. I mean, it's easy to get 17, and Cabela's has a 10 box limit on 17 like the rest of their ammo. So
yeah.
if you want something that can reach out a little further, a little more accurate than a 22, and be able to go and buy ammo right then and there,
That's a good point.
17 turned out to be a pretty interesting round.
Yeah, I actually really liked it.
The other gun I really, really wanted to see today, which we did, was the new Browning 1911 22.
That one, good and bad on that one. Not bad as in,
Okay.
I didn't like it.
Well, let's start with the good. The good is, it looks like a 1911. It functions like a 1911. It's in a 22.
and it's accurate.
It's accurate and very reliable. They had run, by the time we had got to it, they had already run 1,500 rounds through it. We got up, no problems. That's good.
Very good.
Now, I don't know if it's the bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's bad. That's kind of harsh.
But let's say it's the thing we didn't expect.
Yes, very well said.
And that is, it's not the size of a 1911.
Not even close.
When you take a picture of it, or you look at a picture of it, you can't tell the difference. It looks like a full-size 1911.
Far from it.
It's when you get up on it and you're like, wait, this is like two-thirds scale or something.
Yeah.
It's a lot smaller than a standard 1911. And I'm not saying it's more like a Commander style either. It's narrower, it's thinner, it's smaller. It is a 1911 in every way, shape, and form, scaled down.
Yes.
So, is that bad? Well, I guess it's bad if you're buying one as your 1911 practice gun.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be the same.
Yeah, it's not a 1-for-1. I mean, it's a great gun. I thoroughly enjoy shooting it. Wouldn't mind having one myself, but it's definitely not a 1-to-1.
No. Great plinker, great first gun, great, getting started gun, great range gun. I don't have anything bad to say about it.
It was just odd it being so small.
Right. I just expected
A full-size.
a full-size 1911, and it wasn't. So, if you're looking at that and you're looking at the pictures of it, you got to realize this is a shrunken down 1911. But still, wouldn't mind having one.
No, it was comfortable to shoot. It was dead accurate.
Yeah.
I was very pleased with it. It was just caught me off guard it being so small.
Yeah. Now, let's see, another one, a product that we first saw an announcement a couple months ago. We got really excited about it. What was the price? The price was eventually announced a few weeks later. That's the new, what do they called it? The Mode 3 trigger or Mode 3 reset, something like that. This is the trigger system for ARs from TrackCon.
Yes.
And what this gives you is not a full auto so much as a
It's a bump fire.
very short reset. So you can't just pull, if you just pull the trigger all the way back and hold it, you got one shot. If you
Yeah, basically, it's just like kind of if you were in semi-automatic mode and you were putting just two down range real fast. If you use that same method, it works like a top. I mean,
Yeah.
it's impressive.
what it really allows you to do in a semi-automatic mode is fire far faster than you normally could with a full reset.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the best way of looking
That
at
is
it, right?
That's a good way to
It's
put
a
it.
very short reset because it's completely redesigned internals. So if you kind of vibrate your finger, man, you can lay down some rounds
And
really
you don't need to
fast.
do anything differently than you do already when you shoot. That's the nice thing about it. You don't have to hold it weird. You don't have to hold it from the hip. I mean, you can still stay on target. It's still accurate.
That was the thing. You could really pound through rounds and stay on target.
Yes.
It was very, very controllable versus full auto. You get that muzzle lift.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it becomes a little more uncontrollable. That really felt good, and you were able to stay on target really well.
I liked it. I'm hoping to get my hands on one.
Absolutely. Super cool. Another product that we've been following for a while, not really sure what we were going to think about it, is the tracking point system. And the tracking point it's a full weapons platform, even though it's built on some traditional style guns, including ARs. It is a full weapons platform, and when you're looking through the scope, it's a heads-up display, and there's a separate button next to the trigger. So as you're looking, I'll have to try and explain it in the way you use it. So you're looking at your target, you get it in the sights, you hit the, what did they call it? The tag on the side, which now locks onto that target. Now what happens from that point is the system calculates bullet spin,
All the ballistics.
the ballistics, it calculates the drop of the earth, the rotation of the earth, all these different variables that go into what you would normally program into a ballistics calculator right there on the spot, and then tells you how to move the gun to get back to that target. So we're shooting some fairly small targets at 960 yards. Get it on, tag it, all of a sudden, boom, the target drops, because at 960 yards, we had a 14-foot drop, right? So now we have to raise up in order to compensate for a 14-foot drop in the bullet, but it's telling us, go this way. And so you raise it up. Now, as you get in the kind of the ballpark, right, you pull the trigger. Nothing happens. You have these red reticles that you're looking at as you're bringing it up, and as soon as you are back on target where you tagged it, it fires. Now, going from having my longest shot handheld, it was actually with a Mosin Nagant, at 350 yards, to all of a sudden making my first damn near 1,000-yard shot with a single trigger pull, you'd think I'd be like in seventh heaven. And yet, I felt like I was playing a video game.
It definitely serves a purpose, but maybe it's just the old school in me. I want to do things kind of old-fashioned. It serves a particular niche because you can get on it, and as long as you know about the system, you don't have to worry about calculating the ballistics. But that's part of the shooting aspect of it. For me,
It can be, but if you're out hunting, you're by yourself, or in a military situation, and you need to acquire your target and take that shot now. It's a great system. You tag it, you bring it up, boom, you make your shot. You got it. One shot, one kill, right? But to have such a long-range shot end up being anticlimactic because I didn't do anything. I didn't have to walk it in. I didn't have to adjust the sights. Not that it wasn't cool.
It was very cool.
It was very cool, but it just took away something from that shot, and I'm a little bummed. You know, I know it may sound silly that, well, you still made a 960-yard shot. I'm like, did I? I mean, did I make that shot?
That's a good point.
I mean, all I had to do was follow directions on screen and line it back up again, and the gun went off. Now, the weird thing was, you pulled the trigger, and that gun didn't go off for almost 2 seconds before I got it back on target, and by then, I wasn't quite ready for that shot to go off, and, you know, that was a 338 Lapua, right? Mm-hmm. And so, you know, not a mild kick either, so it threw me off a little bit. I still think the technology's cool. I still think there's a great market for it. I still like everything about it. It's just, that was my first experience, and it kind of weirded me out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm kind of old school, so I mean, I like the math behind it. But
yeah, and if you have the time and you're doing that, and you're, you know, there's that whole art/science of a long range shot, mm-hmm. which is super cool. And if you get it dialed in on your first shot, you're a freaking master. If not, you'll walk it in a little bit. Okay, great. If you don't have that ability, you don't have that time, you'd need to get that shot off quicker, Tracking Point's a great system.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
So I'm not trying to knock it, I'm just knocking my first experience with it, I think. And not that it wasn't cool.
It was totally cool. I mean, they definitely have that technology nailed.
Yeah. They can get stuff that's on the move up to 10 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, cool system. Don't get me wrong. Geez, what else? I mean, there was so much to see today. It's really hard to cover everything. I mean, the Walter handguns.
Yeah,
great feel. Yeah. Never had fired one. Fantastic feel to that trigger. Very impressed. Love to get my hands on one of those and really take it to the range. Put a lot of rounds through it. I mean, when we're at range day, I mean, we're lucky to get 5-10 rounds through any particular gun. So, as cool as something might seem, when you really are putting a few hundred through it,
it's going to change it.
You know, your perspective may change on a little bit. So, some things we're really excited about now, it might change when we have something a little longer term to go and test. But I think overall, there was a lot of really cool stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
Anything else that there's so much to try and even remember.
There's so much to digest that we'll just have to go through the video and get those individuals up and go from there. And
so stay tuned tomorrow. We'll have highlights from tomorrow. We have interviews scheduled with people in their booth. It was just too loud to try and do interviews out at the range. All the gunshots going off. There was 700 people there and a lot of ammo going off. So it was too loud to try and do interviews today. But we do have them scheduled in the show. So good range day.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. So that's our highlight reel for today. Check back tomorrow for more from SHOT Show 2014.